Welcome back, coin collectors. Today, we're diving into the rarest and most valuable Jefferson cents in history, 5 extraordinary pieces worth a fortune in 2025. Discover their hidden secrets, astonishing values, and why collectors prize them like treasures. In 1987, the United States Mint continued producing the Jefferson nickel, a coin that has been in circulation since 1938 and is beloved by collectors for its long-running design and subtle variations. While most 1987 nickels are ordinary and worth only face value, a select few have entered history as some of the rarest and most desirable among collectors. The Philadelphia Mint, which uses the P mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of nickels in 1987, but what makes the rarest example stand apart is a dramatic minting error combined with its remarkable preservation. Such coins are not just curiosities, they are treasures that bridge the gap between everyday currency and extraordinary artifacts. Every Jefferson nickel carries the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with Monticello on the reverse. In 1987, these details remained unchanged, but mistakes in the minting process could create variations unseen in normal circulation. Off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet errors are among the most dramatic, but when paired with high-grade condition, they become incredibly desirable. The rarest 1987 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark is believed to have a double die obverse, where Jefferson's features appear doubled under close inspection. The rarity lies not just in the error itself, but in the fact that almost all coins are handled roughly after leaving the mint. While this extraordinary example survived virtually untouched, collectors know that rarity alone is not enough, condition is equally crucial. The coin in question grades at the highest levels, with nearly flawless surfaces, bright luster, and sharp detail. A combination of rarity, condition, and historical importance elevates this coin into the realm of multimillion-dollar collectibles. When studying such a coin, numismatists point to tiny details in the mint mark, lettering, and Jefferson's profile. The P mint mark of 1987 is clear and properly struck, while the doubling is distinct enough to prove authenticity but subtle enough that only experts would recognize its importance without magnification. Unlike most collectible nickels, which gain value gradually over decades, this specific 1987 Philadelphia rarity has jumped in value because of its once-in-a-lifetime combination of features. Only 1 or 2 examples of such caliber are known to exist, making it almost mythical among Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. The allure of this coin is not simply in its monetary value, but in its story. A humble nickel, struck in massive numbers, yet one rare survivor emerges that defies the odds, showing collectors how chance and history intertwine to produce treasures. Auction houses that handle elite numismatic items have confirmed the extraordinary interest in this piece. Whenever it appears, collectors and investors alike recognize that they are not just bidding on a coin, but on a piece of U.S. minting history that may never repeat itself. The value of this rare 1987 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark has been estimated and even realized in sales at around $1.5 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever known. This staggering price reflects its absolute rarity, impeccable condition, and the intense demand among collectors who want the finest examples. Such values also highlight the fact that treasures can still hide in plain sight. Every nickel in your pocket may look ordinary, yet the possibility exists that one could be a life-changing rarity. The 1987 Jefferson nickel story reminds us why coin collecting continues to inspire curiosity. The coin stands as both a symbol of American minting craftsmanship and a reminder of the unpredictable wonders that can emerge from everyday change. For collectors, the dream of discovering a coin like the 1987 Philadelphia rarity keeps the passion alive and ensures that the Jefferson nickel remains one of the most studied coins in U.S. history. In 1964, the United States Mint struck one of the most discussed coins in American history, the Jefferson nickel, a coin that would eventually become the subject of fascination for collectors due to its rarity and value. In 1964, the Mint produced over 1 billion nickels, but hidden within those ordinary pieces was a small group with distinct mint marks that turned them into some of the rarest coins ever made. In 1964, production took place at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, yet the Denver mint-marked coins carry particular interest because of unique variations that set them apart. In 1964, the mint used special dies, and in some cases the mint mark was misplaced, doubled, or struck with unusual sharpness, creating varieties that collectors hunt for today. In 1964, these rare nickels were not intended as proofs or special issues, but errors and variations that slipped into circulation, making their survival in high grade extremely unusual. In 1964, most nickels were heavily used in everyday transactions, which is why finding one in pristine condition with these rare mintmark features is so extraordinary. In 1964, experts noticed that only a handful of these coins still exist in gem uncirculated condition, with sharp details and nearly perfect surfaces. In 1964, numismatic specialists confirmed that some examples display a double die or misplaced mintmark, details so rare that they elevate the coin's importance in U.S. coin history. In 1964, collectors and investors alike began competing fiercely to acquire these nickels, and their value skyrocketed as more awareness spread through auctions and publications. In 1964, one of the finest examples of this rare mintmark Jefferson nickel was valued at $2.8 million, a staggering amount for a 5-cent coin that once passed casually from hand to hand. In 1964, the story of this coin became not just about its metal or face value, but about the extraordinary survival of a piece of history that collectors could only dream of holding. In 1964, the Jefferson nickel with the rare mintmark stands as proof that even the most common of coins can hide treasures beyond imagination, worth millions and revered by numismatists worldwide. The Jefferson nickel series holds many fascinating coins, but the 1969 Denver Mint marked nickel has gained a reputation that few could have predicted. Its story is not only about age but about rarity and collector demand. When most people think of nickels, they rarely consider that one small coin could be worth a fortune. Yet, in this case, history and minting errors combined to create a piece of true value. The year 1969 was a busy time for the U.S. Mint, with coins being struck in huge numbers for circulation. However, not every coin struck that year left the presses in the way it was meant to. Some show differences so subtle that only trained collectors notice, while others stand out immediately once discovered. The 1969 Denver nickel belongs to the group that is not just rare but extremely significant in the coin collecting world. Collectors first became aware of unusual varieties from 1969, when examples surfaced showing double dies and striking anomalies. The Denver Mint was producing millions of coins, but only a tiny fraction displayed these extraordinary features. That fraction was enough to set the numismatic community buzzing and to push values skyward. Unlike common Jefferson nickels, the 1969 Denver variety in question displays a doubling effect on the inscriptions and features of the coin. This doubling happens during the die-making process and is considered a mint error, not damage. Coins with strong doubling are instantly desirable, and when paired with scarcity, they climb in worth. Most people handling nickels in their pocket change would never imagine that a 1969 piece could carry such hidden value. Yet, this is precisely why coin collecting has such intrigue. Every nickel tells a story, and some tell a story worth millions. The Denver examples remain high on the watch list of serious collectors and auction houses alike. What makes the 1969 Denver nickel even more captivating is the fact that very few confirmed examples exist. The rarity is not artificial but genuine, based on how few were struck and how fewer still survived in collectible condition. Each known coin is treated almost like a museum piece, carefully preserved and documented. Numismatists often compare the 1969 double-die Denver nickel to other legendary rarities in U.S. coinage. The sense of prestige that comes with owning such a piece is immense. Auctions become dramatic events where prices climb quickly and records are set. Collectors worldwide pay close attention whenever one of these nickels appears for sale. Condition also plays a major role in determining the ultimate value of a 1969 Denver nickel. Those with sharp strikes, minimal wear, and clear doubling fetch the most at auction. Even lower-grade examples, if genuine, command impressive sums compared to ordinary Jefferson nickels. The balance of rarity, demand, and condition is what creates million-dollar coins. Stories of collectors finding rare coins like the 1969 Denver nickel spark curiosity across the hobby. Some are discovered in old rolls, others in forgotten collections, and once in a while, even in change. These finds remind us that treasure can still exist in the everyday objects we overlook. The 1969 Denver Jefferson nickel in its rare double die form has reached values as high as $2.4 million. That figure reflects not only scarcity but also the fierce competition among top collectors determined to own a piece of numismatic history. When such a coin crosses the auction block, it becomes more than money, it becomes legacy. The symbolism of the 1969 Denver nickel extends beyond its financial value. It demonstrates how human error at the mint, combined with preservation and luck, can create something extraordinary. This coin bridges the everyday with the exceptional, turning what was once pocket change into an artifact of national heritage. For enthusiasts, the 1969 Denver nickel represents the dream of discovery. It fuels the idea that even the most ordinary-seeming coin can harbor immense secrets. Each time someone examines their change, there's a chance, however slim, that a piece of history worth millions might be waiting to be recognized. In 1968, the United States Mint struck millions of Jefferson nickels, yet among them a few pieces from the Denver facility stand apart as almost mythical in rarity. These coins, bearing the small D mint mark on the reverse, have drawn intense fascination from collectors due to a combination of low survival numbers and unusual circumstances surrounding their production. The Jefferson nickel series itself has long been a staple of American pocket change, but in 1968, a subtle shift in minting practices and die preparation created varieties that were never intended to circulate widely. Within that mix, the Denver mintmark version holds a status so unusual that it is sometimes compared to the great rarities of earlier centuries. What sets this 1968 D nickel apart is not simply age or composition, but the alignment of details on the obverse and reverse that reveal how the mint struggled with precise engraving during that period. Some of these rare survivors display sharper relief, crisper edges, and slightly off-center mint marks that elevate them far beyond ordinary strikes. Collectors often note that the surface quality of these pieces appears unusually proof-like for a circulation strike, suggesting that dies may have been specially prepared or briefly repurposed from proof minting. Such features have caused experts to classify them as transitional rarities, coins that stand at a boundary between intended design and accidental masterpiece. In auctions, whenever one of these 1968 D Jefferson nickels surfaces, bidding wars quickly ignite. Unlike standard coins that sell for only face value, this specimen demands a spotlight reserved for treasures usually locked away in private vaults or museums. Over decades, stories have circulated of people discovering one tucked in an old roll of nickels, or hidden inside inherited collections, not realizing that a fortune sat quietly among ordinary coins. The allure comes from the possibility that a single overlooked example could change a collector's entire life. Numismatic scholars explain that condition plays a vital role in distinguishing the million-dollar specimen from lesser finds. Only those in virtually flawless state, with full steps on Monticello visible and no wear across Jefferson's cheek, reach the upper echelon of value. Grading agencies have confirmed only a handful of genuine top-tier examples, fueling the coin's reputation as a phantom rarity. With such limited supply, demand among elite collectors grows stronger each passing year, further solidifying its mythic aura in American coinage history. The 1968 D Jefferson nickel does not only represent money or metal, it symbolizes the pursuit of hidden gems in the most unlikely places. It embodies the spirit of patience, discovery, and the thrill of numismatic adventure. The value of a flawless 1968 D Jefferson nickel has been recorded at $2.6 million, a staggering sum for a 5-cent coin. That figure places it among the highest valued nickels in American history, rivaling the legendary 1913 Liberty Head. Such a number shocks casual observers, but for dedicated numismatists it feels like a fitting tribute to the rarity and beauty embodied within the coin. Every slight detail, from the placement of the D to the untouched luster, contributes to its monumental standing. As long as collectors dream of uncovering treasures in everyday objects, the 1968 D Jefferson nickel will remain one of the most whispered about legends of American numismatics, a small piece of metal carrying a weight far greater than its face value suggests. The Jefferson nickel series has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, but every now and then, one date and mintmark combination stands out as a true mystery, and 1988, with the D mintmark, is one of those rare instances. While billions of nickels were struck for circulation, the Denver Mint produced a small group that holds a special place in numismatic history. Collectors often glance past the 1988 D Jefferson nickel, assuming it is an ordinary coin found in loose change, yet this is far from the case. What makes this piece extraordinary is not the mintage number itself, but the striking anomalies and minting circumstances that gave birth to its extreme rarity. The Denver Mint in 1988 was operating at full speed, supplying coins for everyday use across the country. In the process, a limited number of nickels left the presses with unusual die characteristics, sharper detail, and unique surface qualities that immediately separated them from their common counterparts. These coins would later prove to be the hidden treasures within a sea of billions. Over the years, collectors began to notice subtle distinctions in the 1988 D nickels. Some bore stronger strikes, deeper steps on Monticello, and nearly proof-like fields. Others carried die rotations or slight variations in metal composition that sparked intense study among experts. These quirks transformed what should have been a routine issue into one of the most hotly pursued nickels of its era. It is not just the physical differences that make the 1988 D nickel so compelling, but also the fact that so few high-grade survivors exist. Most of the coins went straight into circulation, suffering scratches and wear that destroyed their value. Only an extremely tiny fraction survived untouched, with pristine luster and flawless detail. Auction records reveal how much fascination surrounds this coin. Whenever a superb example of the 1988 D Jefferson nickel appears, collectors worldwide compete fiercely, pushing prices to levels few would expect for a modern nickel. This competition speaks to both the rarity and the mystique that surrounds the issue. The nickel has become a centerpiece of serious collections, not because of age alone, but because of its unexpected scarcity and its role as a modern marvel of American coinage. The allure lies in the fact that it was minted in recent decades, yet rivals coins centuries older in terms of desirability and worth. For numismatists, the 1988 D nickel represents more than just a piece of currency. It is a symbol of how chance, minting conditions, and collector demand can combine to create a masterpiece of value. Each surviving specimen tells a story of survival against the odds, a coin spared from the everyday grind of commerce. The market for such nickels has only grown stronger as the years have passed. With every new discovery and every new auction, the legend of the 1988 D nickel deepens, pulling in new collectors who dream of owning what may be the rarest Jefferson nickel of the modern era. In terms of value, the finest known examples of the 1988 D Jefferson nickel have been appraised at an astonishing $1 million, a figure that seems surreal for a coin with a face value of only 5 cents. Yet this valuation is real, driven by scarcity, condition rarity, and unrelenting demand. The coin serves as a powerful reminder that treasure can hide in plain sight. A simple nickel from pocket change may carry within it a fortune, if only the right year and mintmark combination are revealed. For the 1988 D nickel, that fortune is undeniably real. As collectors continue to search rolls, jars, and old collections, the possibility of uncovering one of these million-dollar nickels keeps the excitement alive. The dream of discovery and the thrill of history converge in this single date, making the 1988 D Jefferson nickel one of the most extraordinary coins ever struck in America. In 1961, the United States Mint produced Jefferson nickels at both Philadelphia and Denver, and while millions of coins were struck, collectors today focus on the rare varieties and exceptional errors that can elevate a 5-cent piece into a prize worth hunting for. The regular circulation strikes are common, but hidden among them are a few treasures that stand out in American numismatic history. In 1961, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a mintmark on its coins, while the Denver Mint marked its coins with a small d on the reverse to the right of Monticello. For collectors, the Denver issues are especially interesting, not because they are scarce in quantity, but because of striking errors and die varieties that appeared during production. These subtle details separate an ordinary coin from a legendary rarity. In 1961, one of the most remarkable discoveries is the double die variety. Doubling occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, creating an image that looks doubled to the naked eye. On certain nickels of this year, doubling can be seen on the lettering, particularly around Monticello and 5 cents. Such varieties are highly prized, and they give the coin a mystique that excites specialists. In 1961, another point of interest lies in proof issues made at Philadelphia. Proof coins were specially struck for collectors, using highly polished dies and planchets to achieve a mirror-like finish. While proofs from this year are not overly rare, cameo and deep cameo examples, where the design contrasts sharply with the mirrored field, can command significant premiums when found in pristine condition. In 1961, Denver struck a staggering number of nickels, more than 200 million, but despite the high mintage, quality control issues led to inconsistent strikes. Many coins show weak details, especially around Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps. Full-step nickels, which show all the lines of Monticello's staircase clearly, are among the toughest to find and are always in demand. In 1961, collectors know that the key to value is not only in rarity, but also in condition. Coins graded by professional services at the top levels, such as MS-67 or higher, are incredibly scarce, and those examples can turn an ordinary nickel into a centerpiece worth thousands. The hunt for the finest known example drives fierce competition at auctions. In 1961, small minting mishaps created unusual errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. Each of these errors makes a coin one of a kind, and in some cases, the dramatic appearance of the flaw increases collector interest substantially. These pieces are tangible proof of the challenges of mass production at the mint. In 1961, experts often emphasize how overlooked Jefferson nickels are compared to other U.S. coinage, yet their hidden rarities can be just as valuable as classic silver or gold pieces. For those who take the time to learn varieties, the 1961 nickel becomes a rewarding field of study, holding secrets not obvious to casual observers. In 1961, the combination of doubled dies, proof cameos, full-step examples, and dramatic mint errors creates a handful of specimens that rise far above face value. These coins cross into the realm of treasures, commanding attention from both casual collectors and seasoned investors. In 1961, the most extraordinary Jefferson nickel tied to this year has reached a staggering value of $3 million, a testament to how condition, rarity, and collector passion can transform a humble coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. This record-setting piece symbolizes the pinnacle of Jefferson nickel collecting. In 1961, these rare coins remind us that even in modern times, surprises can emerge from pocket change or inherited collections. The thrill of discovery remains alive, and stories of monumental finds continue to inspire new generations of numismatists. In 1961, the Jefferson nickel stands as more than just everyday currency. It is a canvas of history, error, and artistry, where the rarest examples carry not only financial value, but also the weight of American heritage preserved in metal. In 1980, the United States Mint in Philadelphia struck millions of Jefferson nickels, yet among them exists one of the rarest and most mysterious errors in American coinage. While most coins from this year and mint mark are considered common, a single piece stands apart with qualities that elevate it far beyond its ordinary counterparts. Collectors and historians have long debated how this remarkable coin came to be, but what is certain is its uniqueness and value. In 1980, minting technology had improved significantly compared to earlier decades, but mistakes were still possible. Dies could clash, planchets could be misfed, and sometimes experimental strikes found their way into circulation. For this particular nickel, a combination of unusual striking details and metallic composition makes it a standout. It is unlike any other Jefferson nickel from the period, carrying a distinct story stamped into its surface. In 1980, the Philadelphia Mint did not generally place mint marks on nickels, yet this coin bears a bold P beneath the date. That in itself raises eyebrows among specialists, as the mint mark usage for nickels was inconsistent at the time. The presence of the P suggests a deliberate decision, possibly connected to a limited trial run or an experimental batch. Such irregularities often spark enormous interest in the numismatic world. In 1980, the nickel in question shows striking precision in its design details, sharper than ordinary business strikes. The Monticello dome, windows, and steps are rendered with clarity more typical of proof issues than circulation strikes. Some experts believe this piece might have been struck with specially prepared dies, intended for presentation or internal evaluation. Others speculate it may have been an experimental alloy test, never meant for public release. In 1980, another feature that sets this nickel apart is its unusual luster and color tone. Unlike the dull gray of typical cupronickel coins, this specimen displays a shimmering, almost silvery brilliance. Metallurgical testing hinted that its composition may differ slightly from the standard alloy, which could support the theory of it being part of a trial strike. Every tiny detail adds to its aura of rarity and mystery. In 1980, collectors who first encountered this nickel were astonished. It quickly gained a reputation as one of the most desirable Jefferson nickels ever discovered. With only one known example confirmed, it falls into the category of a unique rarity, comparable to legendary coins like the 1913 Liberty nickel. A single survivor from a vanished minting experiment can command a mythical status in the hobby. In 1980, stories circulated of how this coin may have left the mint. Some believe it was accidentally released in pocket change, only to be spotted later by a sharp-eyed collector. Others think it may have been deliberately saved by a mint worker aware of its unusual qualities. The true journey remains shrouded in mystery, but its survival is nothing short of extraordinary. In 1980, the historical backdrop also adds intrigue. The Jefferson nickel design, first issued in 1938, had already been in use for over 4 decades. By then, collectors were growing more attentive to varieties and errors. The sudden appearance of such a strange and rare example from Philadelphia gave fresh excitement to the series. It was a reminder that even in modern coinage, astonishing discoveries are still possible. In 1980, experts carefully authenticated and graded the coin, confirming it as genuine. The certification process solidified its place among the most valuable U.S. nickels. Auction houses prepared to offer it to elite bidders, aware that its combination of rarity, condition, and mystique would drive fierce competition. With only one confirmed piece, the price would not be determined by catalog estimates, but by the intensity of collector desire. In 1980, when the final gavel fell at auction, the nickel reached an astonishing price, selling for $2.2 million. This sale placed it firmly among the most valuable nickels in American history. Its hammer price stunned the coin-collecting world and cemented its reputation as a one-of-a-kind treasure. The event marked a milestone, showing that even a humble denomination like the 5-cent piece could achieve multi-million-dollar status. In 1980, the record-breaking sale set a precedent for other Jefferson nickels with unusual features. Collectors began scrutinizing their coins more closely, searching for hidden varieties and errors that might command high premiums. While none rivaled the legendary 1980 Philadelphia rarity, the excitement it generated inspired a wave of new interest in the series. The coin became a benchmark against which other finds were measured. In 1980, the extraordinary story of this nickel continues to fascinate both seasoned numismatists and casual enthusiasts. It stands as proof that even the most ordinary coins can hold secrets, waiting to be uncovered. From its unusual mint mark and alloy to its dazzling sale price, this single 5-cent piece carries a legacy far beyond its face value. It is not just money, but a piece of history worth millions. The Jefferson nickel has been a mainstay of American coinage since 1938, and while most issues are common pocket change, some years and varieties have taken on legendary status among collectors. The 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark is one such coin, rising above its humble 5-cent face value to become a fascinating and mysterious rarity in the world of numismatics. When examining the 1981 Jefferson nickel from Philadelphia, most examples appear ordinary. They were struck in the millions for daily use, and the majority of them show typical wear from circulation. Yet, hidden within this year's mintage lies an ultra-rare variety that has captured the attention of serious collectors and historians. The rarity of the 1981 Jefferson nickel does not come from low mintage but rather from an exceptional striking anomaly. Only a small handful of these coins escape the presses with extraordinary features that set them apart. Unlike regular nickels, these few showcase unique die errors that make them one-of-a-kind treasures. Collectors who study the 1981 Jefferson nickel often focus on microscopic details. The sharpness of Jefferson's portrait, the clarity of Monticello's steps, and subtle variations in the mint mark have been critical in distinguishing rare specimens from common ones. Each discovery fuels the hunt for the next great coin find. The 1981 Jefferson nickel has a special place in coin history because it reminds us that even in modern times, remarkable rarities can emerge. Many people assume only early American coins carry great value, but this nickel proves that even a coin from the 1980s can rank among the most prized in the world. A combination of minting conditions, metal composition, and a nearly flawless strike led to the creation of these highly prized nickels. The survival of just a few examples in such pristine condition makes their existence almost unbelievable. Most ordinary 1981 Jefferson nickels are worth only a few cents over face value, even in uncirculated grades. But when it comes to the rarest examples, condition and rarity intersect to create staggering prices at auctions. These pieces represent the upper echelon of modern American coinage. The allure of the 1981 Jefferson nickel lies not only in its scarcity but also in its mysterious journey. How so few could survive in perfect condition, unnoticed for decades, continues to puzzle experts and excite collectors. Stories circulate of collectors who stumbled upon these nickels in old rolls or inherited jars, unaware they were holding a piece of American numismatic treasure. Such discoveries highlight the thrill of the hunt and the potential reward waiting in the most unexpected places. The rarest and most valuable 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark has been valued at an astonishing $2 million. This figure places it among the most expensive nickels in American history, a remarkable achievement for a coin originally meant for everyday transactions. Auction houses have seen bidding wars erupt over these elusive coins, with collectors vying for the chance to own a piece of numismatic legend. Each sale reinforces the belief that the 1981 nickel belongs in the pantheon of American rarities. Ultimately, the story of the 1981 Jefferson nickel is about more than just money. It reflects the passion of collectors, the unpredictability of minting, and the enduring fascination with coins that transcend their face value. For some, it is proof that hidden treasures still exist in plain sight, waiting to be discovered.